Welcome to Double Drivel, an NBA podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of Double Drivel. We are a weekly podcast offering a fan's perspective on the news and issues surrounding the NBA. Thank you for joining us. My name is Greg and I am joined as always by my co-host JT. You can find us on Twitter at Double Dribblers or email us at doubledrivelpodcast@gmail.com. JT, what up, my friend?
Hey, Greg. Not too much. Not too much at all. Hanging in there. Watching basketball and, living life.
Playing a little at the old local Y, too, I know. Getting down, right?
Yeah, I played today. Those guys. A lot of elbows being thrown there, Greg. A lot of just dirty elbows. But, yeah, we played. We had a good time.
That's how they do it down there. Well, we got some great stories this week. We got Harden goes for 56 on the Jazz. I know you like that story. Eric Bledsoe is going to the Bucks. And we start with some piss-poor officiating. What is going on in Oklahoma City? Are they getting targeted right now? Can I be so bold as to say they're being targeted?
I don't know if you can say they're being targeted. I mean, they have some aggressive offensive players that are high-profile players, and I think they just draw more eyes on them to begin with. But both Carmelo and Westbrook on the just the shit end of two lousy calls in the past few days.
As bad as the Westbrook one was, I think Carmelo's ejection was worse. Now, Carmelo got ejected. Well, you please go through the tale of why Carmelo got ejected on an offensive play.
Yeah. They were playing the Blazers, and it was confusing to watch kind of because Melo comes in and kind of it's like a double clutch layup, kind of like leaping in, and it goes in, and it looked like he drew contact. So he seemed to be getting ready to take his free throw shot, and they chose to give the play a review real quick, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna eject you instead," because here's a quote from the dumb zebra. We deemed that the contact was excessive and not a natural basketball move, whereas he is seeking out Nurkic, hitting him in the face with an elbow, and then goes back to the basket and scores, which seems like a lot of thinking in the air from this take, if you ask me. Like, you jump off the ground, and like you look around, you bop this guy in the face with an elbow, and then like you turn around and go back to playing basketball, all while your feet are off the ground. It's possible. It just seems pretty calculated.
He went from making a great basketball move to getting called with the and one, going to the line, loving it. My man hit a great shot, a very Carmelo shot. I mean, that is a very characteristic shot for him to take. That's how he drives and takes layups. That's how a lot of players in the NBA go to the hole and, make some off-balance shots and, limbs fly. Because the funny thing is, when you raise your arms, they're about the height of heads. And it's the damnedest thing that, things at the same height might occasionally hit into each other. So he goes, makes a great move, gets the call with the and one. And like you said, I'm not going to say mysteriously they went and reviewed the play, but they did go over and review it, and they came back with, like you said, just a crazy explanation. That is one of the most thought-out things. Who wrote that, or who even said that and can take themselves seriously? He drove to the basket and took a shot. I mean, there was nothing really more than that. I didn't see any bad intentions on those elbows. I didn't see anything to that effect.
Yeah, I think that's just the wrong call. After the game, they asked Melo if he wanted to say anything about it, and he said, "I don't have anything to say about that play. I think the league will do what's right." So taking the seemingly high road is Carmelo Anthony.
That's what he's known for, right? So yeah, some poor officiating there, and nobody likes that. And then, as you said, the next night, Russell Westbrook goes to one of his well-known spots on the court. Everyone knows how Russell Westbrook plays. He won MVP last year. He's Russell Westbrook. So for him to get called on this kind of offensive shot where he stopped and was looking for contact, this was not a malicious intent in any sort of way. He went from getting what should have been an and one to a flagrant one. And again, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, come on, guys. Like, I thought on this play, and they were playing the Kings, and we're talking about Bogdan Bojanovic, Greg, another Eastern European guy. Westbrook taking a jump shot, and I thought they were going to call him for kicking his feet out, which it looked like he did maybe a little bit, but still not enough to be called, in my opinion. But they got him for like a follow through. They said it was an unnatural follow through, and he like smacked Bojanovic in the face, top to bottom style, like Three Stooges style. And he sold it. He flopped. This fucker. He did. He played his part to get the reaction.
Yeah, and in the previous story, oddly enough, it was also a fellow Eastern European with Bogdanovic. So,
Nurkic, Greg. Yusuf Nurkic. Don't tell me. Here's the thing about Eastern Europeans. They're very tough.
Yeah.
The arguably greatest heavyweight cage fighter of all time, Fedor Emelianenko, Eastern European. He's a legend.
Yep.
Another championship boxer, Ivan Drago from Russia.
Very much a champion.
So, like, these guys are tough. They don't need to be flopping. They don't need to be doing this. Come on.
No. So, and they don't endear themselves to, any of the other fans in the league by playing that way.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, moving on. Eric Bledsoe whined and successfully got his trade. Now, he was the one who famously went on Twitter and said, I don't want to be here. And said he was talking about a hair salon, and hilarity ensued. The Twitter pictures, the jokes, the everything. It was all fun and games, but here we are. He got his way. He's going to a better team. He's going to a team that's on the rise, got some great players to play with now. And I hate this. How do you feel?
It's like rewarding bad behavior. He got
Kyrie too.
Yeah.
It's the Kyrie effect.
Bledsoe basically decided he didn't want to be there. He tweets, I don't want to be here. The league fined him $10,000 for that, and then 2 weeks later he's traded and gone.
$10,000 well spent.
$10,000. What does that mean to Eric Bledsoe? It's nothing. It's like nothing, Greg. So I don't know. It's like rewarding bad behavior, but this definitely makes the Bucks a better team. Greg Monroe, I don't know anything about Greg Monroe, but they got a draft pick too, the Suns, that is. So we'll see. I hope Bledsoe doesn't ruin what seems to be a pretty cool thing going on in Milwaukee.
Yeah, if it was 3 or 4 years ago, I might have wanted Greg Monroe, but I can't imagine wanting him now. So I think he's just taking the spot and probably some money for the trade, and then the draft pick's probably what they really wanted. So there you go. But
it's gonna happen again. Someone's gonna do the same thing.
Yeah, we said it when Kyrie Irving successfully got traded that we don't like this, and this is not I don't think what a lot of people like. It's gross. The contracts work both ways. The NBA is lucky enough to have guaranteed contracts, and the NFL would kill for guaranteed contracts. So the NBA should, at least if they're going to get all the money, they should at least play all the time. That's just fair. So if they want to get traded or something, that's business. But this refusing to play garbage is just not cool.
Not cool. Fucks. Play your damn contracts out.
All right. Something that you're very passionate about are the Utah Jazz, but they got a spanking from the the beard James Harden the other day. He scored 56 points, and it didn't look like he could miss. I know you intently watched him hit every shot. What'd you think of that game?
Things aren't great in Utah, Greg. I mean, the defense is okay, but it hasn't been phenomenal. Harden couldn't fucking miss. I think he had like 22 points in the first quarter, and you just knew it was going to be a long night after that.
You text me. You text me when he had 22 in the first. So I knew you weren't going to have a good night. I don't even know if I replied. I just knew it was going to be one of those nights.
Yeah. Jazz tried some different things, but yeah, he ended up with 56. The Jazz lost by a lot, and yeah, I mean, that's why Harden is a consistent MVP candidate. I mean, he can put up big numbers like that.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't care for his style of play either. But I don't think that Chris Paul is going to make that much of a difference either. I mean, the first game that they played together, it not only didn't look like it was working that night, but as a lot of people said, what's the real plan? I mean, yeah, it's going to be great to have two good players. It never hurts, but it's just too similar in the position. It just doesn't. I don't know. I don't think it's going to work, especially because Harden's getting used to scoring all these points. He's playing exactly how he was playing last year. He's just continuing. Is Chris Paul going to hinder that at all?
I know you don't agree, but I think Chris Paul is going to be in a backup kind of position, whereas they'll let Harden either start and play the point guard, or Chris Paul's going to come off the bench and lead a second unit. I think he's just kind of like slowed down a little bit, and he's smart enough to know that if Harden's can put up these kind of numbers, you don't want to interfere with that. You want to like see where you can complement him, and that's going to be when he needs a break.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they need the help scoring points. It would seem more, maybe they could use his other talents with the assists or things like that, or even going in for the rebound. Chris Paul always got respect. My man goes in, he will go in for a guard rebound. Not really in there, but he's definitely going for it better than some guys.
Yeah, he's scrappy.
So there you go. All right, well, we're going to come back. We're going to have predictions and some other stuff. So we'll see you on the other side. Hello, and welcome back to Double Drivel. Thank you for joining us. I am Greg with my co-host JT. You can find us on Twitter at Double Dribblers. All right, JT, what is with the Celtics? Now, I am a Celtics hater. I don't like anything about Boston. I feel dirty that I even felt any sort of pity for Tom Brady when there was the Deflategate thing going on, because that was a sham. I hate Boston, and that was a sham. So I don't care for Boston at all. Football, basketball, hockey, none of it. Oh, baseball. Let's not forget baseball. The Red Sox, hate them. But they're playing pretty well. And I am not a Kyrie Irving fan, especially how he got there. But something I heard today that I hadn't thought about, they lost or had to trade away 3 starters from last year to get Kyrie Irving and for other moves in the offseason. So they also lost a guy that they only had for a couple minutes. So pretty crazy that they are still playing this well. How great would they be if they had the great Gordon Hayward as well?
Do they even need him? They won 9 in a row. They look fantastic. Kyrie looks incredible. Do they need Hayward? I mean, they have him. It's not like he's going to go anywhere, but they look really good. And it looks like Boston, they made the right deal, it seems, shipping out Isaiah Thomas and Jay Crowder and Avery Bradley for Kyrie. It seems to be paying off. Yeah,
and Brad Stevens is a good coach, which Kyrie's never had. So
you're always on his nuts. You say you hate Boston, but you're always on Stevens' nuts.
Well, look at the guy. I mean, the guy who did he have last year for them to be playing as well as they have? And even the year before that, they played pretty well. So I just feel like when you see that guy in the huddle, too, that guy is like he gives a shit. There's a lot of other coaches, like the Hornets coach, just kind of not caring. It's kind of just a thing. Like, I feel like that guy's trying. And that's all I want is a little bit of effort. So I also liked that guy when he was a college coach. He made it to the tournament one year, and they played great when he was at Butler. And, he was just as big of a star as the kids were. And I remember that, and he seemed like a good coach then. And it just makes me think if the guy can get some little crap school into the tournament and get them very far in college, and then he comes to the professionals and he does very well with them, there's a common denominator there, and it's him being a good coach.
Yeah. Celtics play the Lakers
I will get
tonight,
off of his nuts now, as you said, and I will swing over here.
You love him, and you love your man on the Sixers. Who's
JJ Redick.
Him and JJ Redick, and they're both very handsome players, Greg. They really. I mean,
you couldn't get me to say a bad thing about JJ Redick. I mean, I don't really care how he looks, but the guy, I'd put him on my team. He's a good player. I like him.
His hair's a little shorter this season. Do you like it better this way or last season?
It doesn't really bother me one way or the other. I'm good on that.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, the Celtics play the Lakers tonight. If they win, it'll be 10 in a row. Kyrie Irving is going to fucking smoke Lonzo Ball, Greg. He's going to smoke him dirty all night long.
Yeah, I mean, he might. He doesn't play defense well, though. He's awful on D.
Who? Which one? Neither one of them is great on D.
No. Kyrie Irving is terrible on defense. So, I mean, Ball is a rookie. Ball is Ball. We'll see. Oh, my God. And in related news, how could we even get out of a time of talking about Lonzo Ball without talking about his brother shoplifting in China? Did you see this story?
Yeah, I saw it. His little brother. But he has two little brothers. This is the youngest one, right?
No, because this is the one that's on UCLA. So there's another one that's still in high school.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so he and a couple other players from UCLA were on a trip to China, and they decided to steal some sunglasses, and they were just released on bail. But what do people think about? I mean, it's one thing to go somewhere and even act up a little bit, but you're going to steal in a country like China? That seems crazy to me. That just seems like you think you're bigger than any sort of problems or any sort of consequences. That's madness. And to make it even worse, what I heard tonight was that the father came and they're currently recording the show. He has a reality show, of course, and he's there with the camera crew for this whole thing that's going on. And the show is going to be called Ball in the Family. So, oh my God, what has this all turned into?
Petty theft in China, Greg. Petty theft in China gets you thrown in jail. I don't know about you. I'm terrified of international prisons. I'm scared of jail in general, but like the idea of being in jail or prison abroad is. Do
you remember they had that show, Locked Up Abroad?
No. What's that?
They had a show where people would tell their stories. A guy would go in like a Venezuelan prison, or there would be somebody who had been there on vacation, did something stupid like this, and ended up in prison. And their stories and things, and it was just all different people would tell their stories every week, and there were horrible, terrible stories of international prisons. Not like any prison's good, but I don't want to be in some Chinese prison. I'll tell you that right now.
Hell no. I remember there was like that movie from the mid-'90s, and I think it was Claire Danes, and she's traveling abroad, and some dude slips drugs in her carry-on bag. Just like that, Greg. Next thing you know, she's in a fucking wooden cage in some like Thai prison, and no one can get her out. And that shit's scary. I don't want that.
Do you remember when we were in like middle school, that guy that got caned in, I believe it was like Singapore?
Yeah,
because he like stuck gum or something somewhere, and then it was just for like it was sticking gum or throwing on the sidewalk or something. They
graffiti.
caned the guy. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, what? I remember my fifth grade teacher made a point to tell us that they moisten the cane so that it can wrap around your body when they hit you with it.
He was quite a fella.
And the strikes, Greg, they're administered by a martial arts expert. He also taught us.
Yeah, in fifth grade you learned that, huh?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe too young for that. At that age,
maybe. Colorful fella, and we'll leave it there. So that's
Dwight Howard, Greg, fined $25,000 for an obscene gesture. Do you know the gesture?
He gave him the DX, the old crotch chop, the old suck it.
I was actually kind of pleased because it took me a minute to find what the gesture was, do a little internet sleuthing, and I assumed it was the middle finger, but no, it was the old DX suck it, So I was almost kind of happy to see that people are still putting that one out there.
There's something retroactively wonderful about that. It's just it takes you back to a better time when the crotch chop was prevalent and wrestling was a bigger part of our lives.
Sucks to have this guy on your team though, Greg, huh?
It does. It sucks a lot. If I'm opining for the days of X-Pac, who God rest his soul, right? Didn't X-Pac leave us a couple years ago?
No, he's alive.
No, please look that up while I'm talking here, please. I think that X-Pac has gone and left us. I believe something stupid happened. I believe it was like a backhoe accident or something ridiculous. But yes, how I feel about having Dwight Howard on my team. Can I go off about the Hornets for a couple minutes while you look that up? Because I am very unhappy with the Hornets at this point. I don't know. I watched them lose a game the other night it was just a couple points. It was a game that they should have won. It was a game that was in their hands. And the worst part, I think now, is that these teams have a Twitter presence. And whoever this person is on Twitter feels like they need to be in the moment commenting or making some sort of, observation on what's going on. That's not their job. They should just keep quiet because they may just say that everything's going great, everything's going well, but we're watching the game. I can see that this team, when it goes down to the other end of the floor on offense, has no freaking clue what they plan on doing. There's no person that's going to take command. People are just jacking up threes. People are playing hero ball. Nobody is doing anything. We all saw the great video of Cody Zeller getting blocked 4 or 5 times by Porzingis last night when they played the Knicks. It's just disgusting basketball right now. There's teams all over this league playing above their capabilities and beating teams that they shouldn't beat. Even the Suns beat somebody the other night. They beat the Thunder, and I know they beat the Wizards. Suns are a garbage team, and they are beating people. The Hornets are trash right now, and it makes me so mad to watch. And the coach after the game, he says everything's fine. Oh, we're gonna tighten up on defense. Old Coach Cliff gonna tell me everything's gonna be fine. Just gotta tighten up on D. Nah, Cliff, trash right now. You're playing like trash. Nobody cares. There's no go-to guy. You're wasting a good rookie. People are laughing about Malik Monk right now. Like, I guess he wasn't that good. No, I think he is pretty good. I just don't think the Hornets are using him very well. And I'm getting tired of watching these games just because they're not playing well. That's all. It's just driving me nuts. I'm used to them sucking, but this just seems worse because I had a little bit of hope. And I haven't even said a word about Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard is a walking disappointment. That guy has been okay for us, but he should be so much better. So I won't shit on him too hard because we have so many other problems. He's just a small part, but damn it.
Well said, Greg. Well said. I don't know if this is going to brighten your spirits at all, but X-Pac lives, Greg.
Nice. Why did I think he was dead?
Arrested earlier in the year for meth at LA.
Oh, well, okay. Just dead inside.
Well, I won't go as far to say that, but a little trouble with the law. But he is alive. I won't say he's alive.
What,
and well,
was it Road Dogg? Was it the D-O-double-G? Was it Road Dogg that went down?
I don't know. I almost thought they were the same person for him.
No, not the same person, but just the same kind of person, I think. Just the DX kind of person, don't forget about Mr. Ass, too. I don't want to go too deep here with the wrestlers, but we love Mr. Ass. But we're going to move on to predictions now. All right. JT, what is the prediction for me this week? Very excited.
Well, Greg, we are about 1 month into the season. Neither one of our beloved teams are doing particularly well. Is it too soon to call the season to bust and just fucking tank it, Greg? Should we tank? Is it too early for us to tank?
Do you feel like the Jazz are playing as bad? I haven't heard you complain that much about them.
I've been keeping it quiet, Greg. It's just, some things don't feel good to talk about, but
I must say I feel like I should have asked. I feel like it's my fault that we haven't gotten to this sooner, that there was an issue that I knew was there and I was avoiding.
Yeah. Not good. Things aren't good. Hornets, I think you're in the same boat. But should we tank? Should we play on?
I just don't know what we would be tanking for. Do you feel like your organization drafts well enough that you would get a great player and turn next season around because of that?
I don't know if it's that I worry about, other than maybe more so having an effect on our rookie Donovan Mitchell and pissing off Rudy. So he might be less inclined to stay after his contract expires. But it's kind of hard to watch sometimes. We just can't fucking buy a bucket, Rudy's working.
Yeah.
So Rudy looks exhausted, he just looks so tired because he's working so hard. You got Favors shooting threes and Rudy's like shooting jump shots a little bit, and you see them looking for offense wherever they can find it. And it's a little disheartening.
Yep, certainly is. I feel the same way. It's not that I'm just worried about the draft or them finishing low and getting the draft pick or anything like that. It's the fact that it's tough to attract free agents when you're just not good and you don't have any sort of you're just missing a couple pieces and we'll be there. Like, who knows what the pieces are? I mean, we need almost a whole team. Just, I don't know. I'm just wondering if it is time just to get rid of everybody and just roll the dice as they are and then see what happens and start with new players next year and see what we can do.
Yeah. Too early to say. I think it's too early to say, but come on, guys, give us something to get excited about. Let's get some wins. Let's just kind of put a couple together and get a little attention. It just, it starts with a win or two. So let's just work on that.
All right. Well, that is a happy, positive note to go out on. So we should go out with that. And we're going to be back next week with another episode. And it is a very special episode, I'm going to say, because we will have our first guest on the episodes. So pretty excited about that. We will keep it a surprise who it is. So, yeah, come back next week. You excited, JT?
Very excited. I think it's going to be great.
Me too. So in the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter at Double Dribblers, or you can email us at doubledrivelpodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe to the show on iTunes, Podbean, or Google Play. And until next week, we'll see you on the internet.